This podcast is sponsored by BB Makes, a family-run personalised gift company. From sports bottles to team merchandise, BB Makes has you covered. They will happily work with you to create unique designs for your perfect gift, with a wide range of products, all able to be personalised with names, quotes, pictures and much more. Head over to bbmakes.com. That's www.bebemakes.com and use the code KOIS so they know that we sent you. Oh, and of course, come on you Spurs.
Welcome to the Spurs News Podcast, your home for all things Tottenham Hotspur. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome to a new episode of the Spurs News Podcast. I am Sam, recording slightly later in the day today because we decided to wait for the Europa League draw before recording the show. So joining me to discuss that and more, it's Stefan.
Hey buddy, how we doing?
Yeah, awesome. It's just like
something different today to talk about. The cup draw.
Yeah. We're in one.
Yeah.
We're still in one. Just the one now. But it's fine. It was the one I really cared about. He says lying. Okay, so we do have a lot to talk about.
You say that lying. Europa League was the one I was most about, to be honest.
Again, I think this is an age thing. To me, I care more about the FA Cup than almost anything.
I do love the FA Cup. The FA Cup is like the fairy tale thing, but the idea of winning a European trophy, for me, that just kind of just outweighs it.
Is that because your beloved West Ham won one recently, so you'd like your second team to win one?
And let's just, before everyone starts sending the emails, Man United won the Europa League a couple of years ago as well. So let's just throw that one out there before everyone else does.
Yeah, I mean, actually, how are you
but
doing?
No, I just want Tottenham to win a Europa Cup again, a European trophy again.
Yeah. Well, at least unlike some other London clubs, we have won one or several.
This helps.
Hello, Arsenal. How are you all doing? For all the idiots who clip this up, have fun. Also, I just want to say this. It's just a little bit of admin. I'm just going to say it and throw it away. And don't react to it, Steph. I'm going to say it and throw it away. And then I'm going to crack straight on. But on our podcast data, it shows when people skip sections. And you all are very cruel skipping the advert at the beginning of this podcast. Anyway, moving on. Steph, how are you doing? Tottenham beat Man United at the weekend. That's the third time we've beaten your beloved Manchester United. Are you coping all right?
I was actually really happy with the result. Vicario coming back and was immense in goal.
Yeah. I mean,
What's that guy?
It's kind of funny with me with Vicario because, of course, when he got injured, most Tottenham fans were slagging him off because apparently he couldn't claim crosses or couldn't do anything, and yet he's come back and everyone's talking about how great it was having him back.
Yeah, Gary Neville has a lot to answer for.
Yeah, they all do. But it is a weird thing, and I think I'm hoping the more people point it out, the more people might sort of wake up from it. But our views of players and views of games are actually influenced heavier by the commentary team than what I think any of us realise. So I'd encourage people to, like, if you're watching someone you think they're having a bad, or the commentators are telling you they're having a bad game, mute them, watch the game for a bit, and just see if you still feel the same way. Because I've had a few times now where they're telling me someone's having a poor game, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, I don't see it. And then you sort of see reaction of people at the stadium talking about how so-and-so worked really hard, and no, commentators told me he was crap. So yeah, it's a weird one, but yeah, Vicario, universally slagged off by people, comes back. Do you think that his impact is larger than just his ability to be a shot stopper, which he was? He made some phenomenal saves against your beloved Manchester United to give Tottenham the victory. But
you loved that, didn't you?
Yeah. His presence appears to be a big impact as well, just because a few people have said it, and Alistair Gold of Football London said that you can hear him clearly. He's like, the press box is quite a far way away, but you can hear him. And when you watch him, he's not shy. He's certainly very vocal. Do you think that has an impact on a defence?
I think it has to.
Yeah.
Even if it's just to help with like positioning and stuff like that, like to have that assurance behind you, it has to give you something.
Do you think that, because obviously, I mean, the other lad, who my phone keeps changing to Kinky Kinski.
Kinky.
Yeah, which he for now forever be known in my head anyway. He's still 21, which I know for an outfield player, you're expecting 21. He should be, a seasoned professional by now. But for a goalkeeper, that's still very young. I sort of goalkeeper debuts at the top flight. If they're under 21, it's unheard of, really. Do you think perhaps he needs to work with Vicario to get that confidence and that presence? Because the kid's undoubtedly, to the point that he scares the life out of me. He's so confident on the ball. That...
I think you're right. Yeah, I think he does. I think he needs to. If he's working with Vicario, he's only going to improve as a goalkeeper. Like Vicario's shot stopping is incredible. But I do think that maybe Kinski's better with his feet.
Yeah.
So if the two are working together, that's only going to make both players better, surely.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. I think both of them, they're both very good players. Now, interestingly, Kinski didn't make the Europa League squad for the knockout phase, or did he? I can't remember the changes now.
Oh wait, there. Let me Google. I don't think he did. Let me Google. I know Timo didn't.
Yeah, we know Timo didn't. No, he didn't, because he added Jed Spence and the two new signings. So Kinski didn't make it. Forster's dropped out, leaving Austin and Whiteman. We are...
Yeah, so our goalkeepers, Vicario, Austin, Whiteman and Luca Gunter.
They named Gunter? Oh, of course, he's on the B list, isn't he?
He's on the B list. And then defenders, Danso, Udogi, Romero, Porro, Spence, Davis, Van der Ven, Dorrington and Casanova, because I was guessing the B side, with King and Hardy also on the B side.
Yeah, no, that's right. You don't have to read it out, mate. You'd leave it. It's fine. It was just a basic wondering in my head at that particular moment. But
yeah, they've added Telling as well, which is good.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a 1-0 win over your beloved Manchester United. That's 3 wins for Tottenham Hotspur over your beloved Manchester United. And that is the first time we've ever done that in the Premier League. The first time we've ever done a league double over the team that you love, Manchester United.
That's insane, isn't it?
Of all the Premier League,
all the years, it's the first time. That's crazy.
In 1990, I think I looked up. It was 89-90 was the last time we did it in the top flight.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Perhaps that's why you love them so much. But anyway, so there's 3 wins over them this season, and I don't think you're Tottenham, if you haven't looked at the Europa League draw, realising they're on the other side of the draw, which means the only time we could possibly face Manchester United again is in the final of the Europa League. And I don't think you're proper Tottenham if you've not looked at that and gone, we've beaten them 3 times this season, there's no way we wouldn't lose that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we're getting battered in that final.
By your beloved Manchester United. I mean, we wouldn't get battered. Jesus, you loved them so much. God, that's painful. Damn. But yeah, so it was a win, and I think it was a win we just needed. I said this to a few people in the comments because people were moaning about the performance. I didn't think the performance was that bad. It was a bit disjointed, but I think there's this weird, right, players are back, everything needs to be perfect Ange Ball, or he's been making excuses for weeks. It's like, that's not reality. It's not, this isn't a video game where when someone returns from the injury list, they're then back to perfect and everything slots back the way it was. They got to get themselves back to being match fit. The players who have been playing the whole time are dead. So it's going to be a bit disjointed. But the more of them that comes back, the more you can rotate, the more you can kind of do stuff, and he's got options, I think we're going to get stronger and stronger. And sometimes, like a striker needs one to go in off his ass or his shin when he's in a goal drought. We just needed a win. And that 1-0 win over United, there were some great saves from Vicario, which kept it 1-0. We did have some other chances as well, which we probably should have taken. So overall, it's a difficult one, because I think if Man United fans would say they didn't deserve to lose the game, that's probably fair. You know, a draw might have been fairer, but fuck that. Fuck fair. We won 1-0. So that's my view on that. My notes here is like, with 1-0 win over United, that's 3 in the season. Steph, are you okay? That's actually what I wrote.
Buzzing, mate, buzzing.
Yeah, buzzing, all right, because you're just pretending you're not hurting. I get it. That's right. We won't talk about it anymore. Another fun stat for everyone, which I'm loath to do because it feels like a jinx, but we are their bogey team. So we've played Manchester City twice already this season, so we will play them for a third time next week. I think it's Wednesday at our ground. We've beaten Manchester United 3 times this season, once in the Cup, 2 in the league. So no team has ever beaten the Manchester clubs 6 times in a season before in history of football.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's probably not going to happen. but it is Manchester City who, for some strange reason, and it's quite good fun because there's a Man City fan I've got quite kind of chatty with via Twitter, and he says to me, he says like, he follows me, I follow him back, and he's like, it's hilarious the tension in the Man City fan base. He said, we play Real Madrid away, and we're like, yeah, we'll go there and beat them. He said, well, yeah, we lost. He said, but we got that confidence. And we go to your ground, it's like, oh, please just let us score a goal. That's so mad.
It makes no sense at all, does it?
Well, it's kind of funny that they've been, without a shadow of doubt, the best team in the world, really, for a good few years. And we've been their bogey team. They've really fallen off this year. And we went to their ground and hammered them. I kind of feel like something's going to go wrong. I kind of feel... I don't know. I'd like to think that our performance levels, again, it's Man City. They're going to be like, oh, no, it's Tottenham. And we're going to be like, yeah, let's hammer them. But Carl Walker's left them now. And I did feel there was a little element of our team hammering them as a bit like, this is for you, you snaky bastard. not that I'm bitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, he's revising history, isn't he? Have you seen him or heard him on these podcasts recently? Talking about how, oh, you know, I wanted, you know, I had the option, but, you know, they decided to sell me and all this shit. Forget the fact that, you know, there is a book out there from Pochettino, and I guess he's probably saying, oh, that's what he says and everything. But there's a lot of other accounts of the fact that we were in a title race, and he basically walked in and said, I want to leave. So, yeah, sneaky bastard. He can jog on. Yeah. But anyway, moving on from him and all snakes of that nature, and Steph's doing well. He's gotten over his beloved Manchester United losing to us 3 times this season, so he's all right.
Should he mentioning it more for a reason?
I'll stop now. It's good. I'll stop now. We are going to head over to questions from our fellow Tottenham fans.
Now it's time for your comments from our social media.
In a shocking turn of events, you can choose Instagram or Facebook, dear boy.
Oh, I mean, I'm very glad you gave me a pause there to compose myself. Thank you. Let's go Instagram.
Okay, we're going to begin with Instagram. And we have here a question from the Johnny Stark. Now, the Johnny Stark show has its own intro. However, I have no idea if I have it loaded into the desk. So everyone talk amongst yourselves whilst I work it out. No, I don't. So let's pretend you don't have one, and there we go. Taking into consideration the insane bad luck with injuries, what do you realistically hope the team can accomplish in the remaining games for this season to be considered a success? Yikes.
Oh, people love asking these ones, don't they? What's success? What classifies now?
That's
what classifies for Tottenham Hotspur as success? A club that we haven't exactly won much in the last few years. We've challenged the top four for a while now, then dropped off a little bit. Like, what is success for us? Like, for me, I think where we are in the league at the moment, and with the players coming back to fitness and playing the way we know we can, I want to see us getting as far as physically possible in the Europa League. And I want to see us challenging for at least to get back into a European competition next season.
Okay.
So what's that? That's 8th place if everything goes well with the whole coefficiency, whatever it is thing.
So you would, at the moment, it's 6th. So 7th and 8th could possibly become European places depending on who wins the cups and the coefficient, as you said. But currently, no, it's 6th. So when it comes to defining success, I mean, success really is winning something. We've not had a successful season in a long time, is the reality. Successful season, I know what you're saying in terms of what would be a defined success from here, but even that, I think Ange gets fired in the summer. I think that even if he managed to get us back up to 8th and we got to the semi-finals, for example, I think they pull the trigger on him.
Damn, okay.
I think it's a case of success from here. And it is largely due to the fact that, okay, we've weathered this storm. We're starting to come out of it. I mean, Don't get me wrong, we're not out, I mean, our first choice centre-backs are still missing. The guy we just signed looks like he picked up a knock in the last game. We're waiting to find out if he's fit enough to play Ipswich this weekend.
That was just one of those, like, for crikey's sake, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it just it's mad. So when it's define success again, like you said, it's very difficult because yes, we could define success as the success from here would be digging ourselves out of this hole. But as the whole season, like if you look at it, the only way really to be defined as a successful season would be to go and win the Europa League. So let me just give you an example. So let's say we finish the season 14th in the league, right?
Yep.
We get knocked out in the next round of the Europa League. There's no way on this earth he keeps his job in that, because I think even I would have to say we need to change something.
Yeah, that's not been good. Yeah.
You know, that's not good. That's not good enough for the investment and the size of the club we are. We just have to say, no, it's not worked. For whatever reason, it's not worked. And I'd still hold the ownership ultimately accountable, but I'd have to just say, yeah, no, I see it, and he's got to go. Let's hope we get someone else in who can turn this around with this squad. Now, if, however, we finish in that exact same league place, so we're still, our league form continues to be win one, lose two, crap, but we win the Europa League, that means next season we're in the Champions League, for one. And two, we've lifted a trophy, which would make it the most successful season for us in a long time.
Yeah.
And that's a mad thing to think about, because no one feels like this season's good. But I often say this is like, when you look back on things, it's amazing how you forget the crap if it ends okay. And there's a film, it's a sports film called Moneyball, talking about baseball, okay?
Yeah.
I hate baseball. I think it's the most boring thing on the planet. I cannot stand it. It's glorified rounders. It's wank, right? So a film about baseball, no way on this earth should that interest me. But the story behind it and what they did, it kind of caught me, and I know a lot of people have kind of compared it to what Brighton and Brentford have done, transfer-wise in football, kind of mirrored it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to watch it.
Oh, okay.
It's a great film. It is a really, really great film. Whether you care about baseball or anything, it's a sports film. It's very interesting on what they did, and it's very interesting just what they do. But there's a line in it where the guy says they won 20 games in a row, which is a record, or was a record then, whenever it was, in baseball.
Yep.
But they then lost in the playoffs at the end of the season. He's like, so none of it matters. He's like, that whole season was the most successful, amazing season, but no one's ever going to remember it because we didn't win anything. On the flip side, if we win the Europa League, getting Champions League next season and a trophy and a fantastic night in Bilbao, like a glory night, a Tottenham Hotspur glory night, when people look back on this season, next year, we'll just remember that trophy. In 5 years' time, it's purely that trophy. 20 years' time. Like, I don't remember the season 1990-91 when we won the FA Cup. I remember none of it. I was young, but none of it. I remember us beating Arsenal in the semi-final, and I remember us beating Forest in the final of the FA Cup, and I remember us lifting the trophy. Can you tell me much about our League Cup that season? Can you tell me anything other than we beat Arsenal in the semi-final and then Chelsea in the final?
No, I was literally just thinking that to myself now. I was like, what do I remember from us winning the league, winning the League Cup that season? What do I remember?
No.
Yeah, I don't remember anything minus
the... don't get me wrong.
Really,
if you sat down...
Getting the ball in the side of the face, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you sat down and someone stuck all the games in front of you, you might pick them out and go, oh, God, yeah, I remember that. Oh, yeah, I remember that one. But just now, just as a memory, winning that trophy is what is in your memory. And therefore, that season was a good season. Do you remember where we finished in the league?
No.
No. Do you care?
No.
And that's the interesting thing. This is what I come back to. So, like you said, defining success is really... It's interesting, you know, what would you define as success? For me, a successful season is winning something. You could argue, definitely you could argue, that if we were to manage to climb the league table to get into the top 8, that is a success from where we were. But would you, looking back as the whole season go, at the start of the season, would I have said that that was successful? No, I would not. So it's a strange one. It's a good one. It's a good question to ask.
It's very difficult to answer.
Yeah. Up next, we have a question from someone who does have a theme that's loaded into the thing, and this will help with those winter blues.
Now it's time for a comment from Island Brother.
Sorry, he asked me to do that. Okay, so, hola, Miss Tottenham amigos. Hope you're all well and resting those hamstrings. Yes, I are. Although I donated mine to Mickey van der Ven. Question: do you have any insider info on Mickey van der Ven? Interesting. The cover story seems a little iffy and leaves my conspiracy senses tingling. Although it could always just be me. Keep doing what you're doing. We want Levy out. Say we want Levy out. Yes.
Love a good conspiracy theory.
Love a conspiracy theory, especially around football. So it's not really insider information, I don't think. I was told there's very, very limited people who I know actually work within the club. There's lots of people who are around the club that I know have good links, and when they say stuff, it's like, oh, you should listen to that person because I know for a fact they know this person or they know this. There is a couple of people I know who do work within the club, and one of them said to me a little while ago, and I think I've said it before, but apologies if I haven't, it would appear to be now almost a psychological issue with Mickey, where he played the 45 minutes kind of in second gear in that Europa League game.
And he admitted it, didn't he?
Yeah, came through it fine, no problems or anything, but the next day had some muscle spasms and a few kind of things. Now, I know, you know, everybody knows if you don't do anything for a little while and you exert yourself even a little bit, you feel it. And it would appear that what happened before was he felt fine, came back against Chelsea, and it went bang. And it's kind of got in his head because he felt fine. Sports scientists and everyone said, yeah, you're good to come back. And he was like, I've trained, I'm good to go, boss, put me in. It went. So now he's second guessing of like, do I know my body? You know, if I sprint,
is it fine? Is it
fine? Because I feel as good as I did last time, but you know, and I've done this 45 minutes, but then it ached a bit. And so what they've done is they brought in a specialist coach who is working with him basically around building his confidence back. I think Ange said in a press conference they were working on him about how to change his running technique with a specialist sprinter coach, like someone who actually works at like Olympic sprinters, along the lines of, oh, okay, if you think that doing this is perhaps the reason why your hamstring's going, let's change it. Let's change your stride pattern. Let's do this. But I'm told all of it is kind of a bit of a placebo, a bit of a kind of just get your confidence back, because, I mean, I do get it, especially with injuries that lay you up for a long time, and it is painful. Like you pull your hamstring, you tear it like he did. It's like being shot, it's like literally you sort of feel it and then you're ow. So I imagine opening up again, and the pace of the Premier League is such that he puts in a lot of sprints, and the way we play, he puts in a lot of sprints. And it's also, this could just be a conspiracy in my own mind now, but I also feel that he would feel better coming back next to Romero than he would coming back next to young Gray or Davies or something, who's sort of slotting in there. That's just me saying that, because like that Chelsea game, Romero was back fit, and I kind of feel like he passed himself fit. Like, yeah, I'm good to go. Cutie's there, I'm good.
Yeah, me and him, we're together. Let's do this. Yeah.
And I kind of feel like maybe if Cutie was back in the rhythm, playing well, maybe he'd feel a little bit more like, okay, well, maybe I can do the first half, see how I get on. I think perhaps it's just a psychological thing. But it's interesting because the conspiracy theories and the kind of people going, oh no, he needs another operation, we've rushed him back and all this stuff. I think that's come because Ange doesn't necessarily want to say in a press conference, it's in his head.
Yeah, I can imagine probably that's not going to be the best thing for a player to hear either.
No, but also fans are not the most understanding of anything like that. He's fit, get him on the pitch. It's kind of like, you see a player like take a head injury. It's like, oh, I'd have played on. Oh, of course you would. Yeah.
It's a bit of blood. He's fine. Yeah.
Butcher played on with his shirt covered in red. Yeah, we know, mate. Yeah, we know. The game's changed a little bit. Yeah.
The game's gone. The game's gone, as they like to say. The
game is gone. So, no, I cannot confirm any crazy conspiracy theories. I've got loads about other players. So, if you want me to start talking about them, let me know. I'll get the old X-Files theme out again and we'll start talking about them. But yeah, with that one, the rumour mill and the from the people that I trust and rely on is that he is really struggling to get his confidence back. Like, he's training full pelt. Like, he's training fine and he's full contact. He's going for it. But then he's, but it hurt, but it aches. Last time I came back, it didn't ache and then it pulled anyway. So this time it must be worse. So, I mean, I get it. There's a psychological barrier there, but at any time, I genuinely expect to see him on the team sheet, maybe on the bench, or I don't know. I just genuinely expect to see him just without any fanfare, but just to be kind of brought back in. Maybe they'll try and save him for the Europa League. I don't know. Speaking of the Europa League, see what I did there? That was seamless. Nice. That was seamless. No one would have even, people would have just been like, wow, he does that so well. Nah. We actually have more questions before we head to the Europa League. We have 2 questions from Facebook. First up, it's Tom Perks, who says, Ipswich away, Man City at home, followed by Bournemouth at home. 7 points from those 3 games could get us into the top half of the table. Is 4 points realistic? Will we have everyone back from injury? There's several questions there. The first one, everyone back from injury, no. I can say that with a degree of certainty. Not everyone. So there we go. What is realistic from those games? Man, that's so tough. I mean, this season, we could lose at Ipswich, beat Man City, and then lose at Bournemouth. So that'd pretty much sum us up.
We so good as well, yeah. That's so true.
I'm going to use a football cliche, which is I think we all need to just go back to one game at a time. I know that's complete cliche and eye-rollingly, it's a funny old game, but We have got to beat Ipswich. It's that simple. Because you can beat Manchester United, Steph's beloved Manchester United, sorry, their full name. But that means nothing if you lose the next game to Ipswich. And that's exactly what happened earlier in the season when we beat Manchester City well, comprehensively, and then lost at home to Ipswich.
That was a dark day, that match.
Now, the argument is, or the debate is, yes, we had to travel to Turkey in a very hostile environment, very difficult, very injury hit, all this kind of excuses that are there, and they're valid. But if you're just focusing purely on the league, we cannot, you've got to back it up. We have to back it up. So we've had another week. A lot of players are back. Hopefully we have defenders. But we will find out probably within the next... probably by the time people are listening to this, the injury news will be out there. In fact, Steph,
I was just wondering that. See, what time does that kind of stuff all break?
It should be now. As we're recording, the press conference should be happening. So if you go to Twitter, you can probably find in amongst it there's the news from the club. They probably won't mention something there. So you do that while I move on to the next question.
Let's have a quick look-see. Okay.
Okay, so the next question is from Ryan Miller. It's Miller time. He says, with such high hopes for Reguilon when we signed him, his contract's due to expire in the summer and he'll probably leave for free. What are your top 3 young players we have signed who you are gutted that they never fulfilled their potential? For me, it was Bostock, De Santos and Yedlin. That's an eclectic 3 players, Ryan. Wow. Mate, I don't know if I can restrict that to 3. I've got so many that we signed them and I just breaks my heart that they didn't go on.
So this is the 3 players that we signed, but we gutted they never reached full potential.
Yeah, you're saying young players, but I mean, De Santos was...
Giovanni Dos Santos, he was like my first player that I really got this weird attachment to for no reason at all.
Yeah.
I think I went when I can't remember when we signed him now. Like, he's about my age, I believe, if not actually, he must be about my sort of age, if not slightly older.
Yeah.
So I was quite young when I saw him, but I'm pretty sure it was like a Europa League game or something.
Yeah.
And he played, and I just remember the whole match just being like, oh my God, like, we have actually signed the next superstar. This kid, he's fast, he's skillful, he was running around players for fun. I was like, oh, this is the one we've waited for. And then nothing ever really happened.
Okay. Well, so I'll give you a name. Adel Tarapt.
Oh, man. Yeah, he was another one.
The player that everyone told me was the next Zidane. He's one of those players that someone said a Barclays man or whatever it is, but it's also the streets will never forget. He had all the tricks like a JJ Okocha. But yeah, Adel Tarapt is one.
Just listened to the audio book of Christ, his name's gone now. Neil Warnock?
Oh yeah.
I've just listened to his audio book, and he talks a lot about Adel Tarapt in that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, the kid, he was so, like, he could win a match on his own.
Yeah.
Or he could also throw a match entirely on its own.
Yeah. The consistency is where he completely fell down. Which is what is the difference between a potentially good player and a superstar. It's the ability to do it week in and week out. Now, what is to try and pick another one? See, it's weird for me because there's a few players in the academy that I saw, and it's a little bit unfair. It's a little bit unfair for me to say, oh, I feel like this player never reached his potential. But this one's more, I saw this player, like the first time I got really into academy football, we had a striker called Lee Barnard. And Lee Barnard scored at academy level. I don't know, it must...
Southend United legend.
It was something crazy. He scored in this one season, every game he was scoring 2 to 3 goals. It was mad. And he looked like he had everything. He had the build, the physique, the power, head, he had a thunder strike on him. And what is hilarious is I watched him come through, and then Harry Kane came through and became the player I thought Lee Barnard was going to be. I told everyone, oh, we got this kid coming through the academy. He's going to smash everyone. He's going to be the best goal scorer England have ever seen, all this. Harry Kane, I was just kind of like, yeah, he's all right. So what I'm saying is people shouldn't trust my judgment on young players at all, but at least I can admit it. And yeah, so that's just one from me very personally, because I was just so convinced he was just going to be an actor. But it did teach me a lesson. It taught me a lesson of academy football and senior football is very different. and you cannot fully judge a player on what you've seen in academy football. You do need to see them go up against seasoned professionals before you can make a judgment call. I'm trying to think of a third one.
So people that we have signed, so he's asking for signed. So yeah, Dos Santos is probably my number one.
Yeah.
Tarapt is probably in my top three, to be fair.
Okay.
No, do you know what? The other two was Victor Janssen. When we signed him from, I want to say it was FC 20, or whatever they say.
Victor Janssen.
Yeah, we signed Janssen, didn't we? And he was like 21 years old. He had just come over from absolutely destroying the Dutch league. And I thought Janssen was going to be the striker that kind of pushed Harry Kane fully, and he was going to be amazing. He had this big build. He was strong.
Yeah, sorry. You mean Vincent? Vincent Janssen.
Vincent Janssen, that's it.
Okay, yeah, okay. Sorry, I genuinely didn't know the hell you were talking about, and then as you described him, I realised who you meant.
Yeah, no, sorry, Vincent Janssen, yeah. Like, I honestly thought when we signed him, I was like, oh, this guy, like, he's going to be the nut. So he's just destroyed the Dutch league in that season.
Yeah.
He came to us, and literally, I think he scored like 4 penalties and left.
Yeah, that was a strange one, to be honest with you, because he didn't suit us at all.
No, but the way he kind of came from Holland, I was like, this is the one that's going to push Harry Kane. Like, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
I'd say Brian Gill as well. Like, I thought Brian Gill was going to be like the next David Silva.
It's funny, I genuinely thought that was going to be the first one you'd say, because he's the one that you consistently kind of talk about. But you love Reguilon as well. Like, you have a real attachment to him, which I don't understand.
I do, but I don't think I can classify him as a... Do we classify him as a young player that never hit his potential? I mean, I suppose he's not that old, is he?
Ryan has. Ryan's classed him as that. I think Ryan's wrong, but I think we signed him. He was 23, 24. I don't class that as signing a young player.
No, I think like 21 and under. I'm thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Reguilon thing is he came in, did very well. His level dropped. His consistency was all over the place. And 3 managers have looked at him and decided no. And with Ange, he gave him a shot playing Ange ball. Didn't work. It's what it is. I mean,
it made me laugh that we went from one summer, everyone being like, "Oh my God, Real Madrid are going to do the buyback clause. We're going to lose him."
Yeah.
And then the next summer, he went to Brentford.
But that's how football can go, though. You know, you got a player who's playing consistently well for you. You're expecting him, just Tottenham anyway. Oh no, we could lose him. That'd be a real blow. But then his level, it was almost like the minute that happened, he kind of went, I'm the Bertie Big Bollocks. And he's never once rediscovered it. And by the way, that's just an outside looking in. I mean, there's probably loads of factors to it, but it just, for me, he could look as equally good and as equally bad as a left back in any kind of system, in any 2 games, which you can't have. That's a nightmare. It's almost worse than being consistently crap. At least if that makes sense. Like, bloody hell, so and so's playing. You'll have to play deeper because he's rubbish. Whereas this guy, you had no idea.
No, I've just seen some squad news. There is no new news. Hoping to have Mickey and Romero back for the first leg of the Europa with Richie and Solanke, hopefully not soon after that.
Wow. That'd be, getting them back would be huge. Okay, good. Thank you, mate. Thanks for looking that up. Did we have one final? I'm trying to think of one. It's not so much a young player, but it was a player we signed, and I had in my head was kind of like, this guy's going to be the kid, and that was a Norwegian striker called Stefan Iversen. I bought into the kind of, this kid's special, he's going to be prolific. It was not the case.
No.
Bad times. Well, thanks for that question.
I share a name with him almost, apart from he spells it wrong with an F.
He spells it wrong. I'm glad that question got asked. That was nice and depressing for me. Thanks for that. I've now got all these players going through my head. It's like, oh, he was crap. Yeah, I remember.
Lewis Holtby.
Yeah, don't even get me started.
Love Lewis Holtby. Don't know why. I think I love Lewis Holtby because he tackled a referee in Ledley King's testimonial match.
Literally, people love the guy, and there's no reason to. Like every game he played, he was poor. I don't get it, but yeah, he is universally loved. Yeah. Anyway, so let's talk about the Europa League then. So we're gonna wrap the show now talking about the brackets. Dun dun dun.
Okay, I have it loaded up right here in front of me because there was no way I was going to remember. Winners of round 16 face winners of round 16 what? I would never remember that.
So the draw has been split into two parts. We are on the silver side of the draw, and then there's the gold side of the draw. I'm quite happy we're on the silver side, I'm not going to lie. We have been drawn in the round of 16 against AZ Alkmaar, who we have already played once. This was the game where we won a penalty, and Madison was going to take it. Richie had a little strop. Madison handed in the ball. Richie scored. We won the game. Yay! But it was a closely fought affair, let's say. We weren't at our best. We will play them over two legs, with the first leg at AZ a week on Thursday.
Yes.
And then the return leg the following week at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. If we win that game, we will face the winners of Ajax versus Eintracht Frankfurt. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I have this awful vision of Troy Parrott scoring a header in the 90th minute at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to knock us out.
Yeah.
So that's my fear. Like, it's going to be level, and like going into injury time, and Parrott's going to turn up and score, and he's not going to know whether to apologise or to celebrate, and it's all going to be very awkward. And
to be clear, he would celebrate like a nutter because he didn't want to leave. He was kind of shown the door for money. I still think it was a terrible decision, but hey, that's my.
That's what it is. Frankfurt and Ajax. Now they are two teams that we obviously have the history against Ajax.
Yeah.
Which worries me. Because that's got revenge story for the revenge for the semi-final written all over the news headlines for that one. And Frankfurt are just one of these teams. They're just a solid team. They're not a team where you look at their players and you go, "Oh my God, look who they've got." They're just a good, solid European team.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, that's going to be. I think that's going to be a really good game. The Ajax Frankfurt game is going to be a really good game to watch.
I don't know.
But yeah, to face them is going to be interesting.
I don't know. I think this is probably the poorest Ajax team I've seen in a while.
A long time. No, you're not wrong there.
So they scraped through. I mean, really scraped through. I was watching that game last night. They didn't deserve to win that game. They lost on the night at their ground 2-1, but they got given a penalty for a handball, which was bullshit, by the way. I'm just, up to this day, if that gets given against us, I'm going to be burning a stadium to the ground. It was a bullshit decision. But it was given, took the penalty. They go through 3-2 on aggregate. But yeah, it was a nonsense. I think Frankfurt do them easily, to be honest with you. Unless Ajax performance gets raised levels above where I've seen them this season.
quite substantially.
I think Frankfurt walk that, to be honest with you, and I'd be surprised if it's anyone but Frankfurt we face. Now, in the other side of our draw, there is Victoria Pilsen, I think, from Poland. They face probably the best side in the competition, Lazio.
They won the groups. They won the league stage of the Europa League.
Yeah, Bodo Glimt face Olympiacos. So from those games, without too disrespectful to the other three teams, I would be amazed if Lazio aren't in the semi-final.
Yeah, they could potentially rotate their squad a bit and still get to the semi-final.
Yeah, I would be shocked if we didn't see Lazio. I mean, don't get me wrong, this can happen.
To be fair, aren't a bad squad, but I think Lazio are a level above those three.
The big thing in Europe is that it's over two legs. In one-off games, you could possibly see any of those sides beating any of the others. But over two legs, generally, the better side will come through, in my humble opinion. And Lazio, I think, will be too much for those teams. I mean, this could we could listen to this in a month's time and it'd be hilariously wrong. But so if
Ajax faced Victoria Pilsen in the semi-final, we're like, what the happened?
Exactly, yeah. So if we beat AZ, if we then beat the winners of Frankfurt and Ajax, we would then likely face Lazio, but could be Olympiacos, Bodo Glimt, or Victoria Pilsen in the semi-final. So that is our side of the Europa League draw.
Yep.
On the other side, there is probably the tastiest, or one. There's a couple of tasty games here actually, and I'd probably say
three of the four I think are fairly tasty.
And I'd say this is the harder side of the. Probably not the Lyon one, but Roma face Athletic Club Bilbao.
That's going to be a hell of a game.
The final was in the Bilbao Stadium, by the way. So that's. Yeah, Roma
They've got a bit of extra motivation, haven't they?
Yeah. Fenerbahce versus Rangers, which is Jose's Fenerbahce. Rangers we faced, they're no slouches actually in Europe this year. They've been playing very well, so that'd be interesting.
They're not doing great domestically though. They're having a bit of a struggle at the moment.
Yeah. FCSB versus Lyon. I mean, that's Lyon's all day long. I mean,
that's the more boring of the four fixtures.
That to me is going to be very straightforward. And then your beloved Manchester United face Real Sociedad, and I think unless United's performance goes up to levels unseen this year, Real Sociedad are going to absolutely walk that.
See, you say that now. I put in our WhatsApp group, didn't I, that I think this has got Jose written all over it. So he plays Rangers. That's fine. In the next game, he would play Roma, which is an ex-club.
I'm really confused. I'm talking about Real Sociedad.
Hold on.
I was talking about Real Sociedad versus Man United. And I said, I think Real Sociedad will walk them. And then you started talking about Jose and Fenerbahce.
Yeah, no, because I think Man United are going to get through further than you think.
No, they're not. Stop
purely because it's the Jose Cup. He's going to beat Rangers. He's then going to beat his old club Roma. He's then going to beat his old club Man United and then face Tottenham in the final.
Okay. It's your love for Man United is just blinding you, and it's sad.
No, it's not that. No, it's my freaking stubbornness of Jose Mourinho to come back and haunt teams that he does so well. The fact it's lined up that he could face three teams, I'm like, oh, that's so got the story written all over it.
Man United versus Real Sociedad. If Manchester United win that, I'll be shocked. I mean, beyond shocked.
Being honest, their form has been awful. They should lose that.
I mean, I would be amazed. Now, over two legs especially, that would be amazing.
And they're still like second or third favourites to win the cup, and it's like, how?
You know, I genuinely think there's an element of because we're up there. We're favourites.
5-1. Yep.
Now, the main reason for that, I think, is there is a slight Premier League bias in terms of the standard of the league. So even a side who's mid-table or whatever in the Premier League is still deemed to be a top side across Europe. If you look at our squad, on paper, you absolutely would think we're going to be right in there. And if you look at that draw we've just got, there's no team there on our side of the draw that I look at and I genuinely think, crap, they'll beat us. I think Frankfurt and Ajax are both good sides. I think Lazio are a good side, but there's no one there I like. So, for example, if we go on the other side of the draw, which was possible, and we were facing Real Sociedad, I probably wouldn't even be bothered talking about the brackets because I really wouldn't expect us to get past them. But with this, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, yeah, if we target this and we genuinely put our eggs into this basket and this is our focus, right, guys, you want to be in the Champions League, this is our route. This is it. You know, our league, you know, we will rotate in the league, we will do this, and our focus will be the Europa League.
Can you imagine, though, the fan reaction when they turn up to a league game? It's like, why is he playing the reserves? What the hell's going on here?
We said this a minute ago. It's the result that counts. And I said this earlier in the season, actually, and I got proven horrifically wrong because he rotated heavily for Galatasaray, knowing we kind of didn't really need to go there and win, and we went there and lost. And I said, that's fine as long as we win the league game. And we picked up a couple of injuries, and then we lost at home to Ipswich, so I was furious because I was like, yeah, you know, that's fine as long as you then do this, and we didn't, and I was angry because I was just like, it's a mentality thing, like that is such bullshit. They showed up against Ipswich just expecting to win, so I'm hoping we go to Ipswich this weekend with a real kind of, you bastards, we want revenge. Because we need to go there angry. You know, we need to go there focused. But yeah, I look at this Europa League knockout stage, and I know it's so easy on paper. You kind of look at it, go, oh yeah, we'll beat them, and then we'll play them, and they'll beat them. And
the old cliches, but football's played on grass.
It is indeed. And so I just kind of, but I'm looking at it, and I look at that, and I don't know how everyone else feels, and by all means get in touch with us. It's an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dan's already brought a holiday, a package holiday to Bilbao for the final, wasn't he?
So Polynesian Dan is already pretty much packing his bags and trying to book his flights and hotels in Bilbao. He's very confident.
As soon as the draw was made and we got AZ, I looked back at the messages and it was like literally within seconds. Final, here we come.
Big smiley face from him. Yeah, I mean, me and Dan went into this the other night, which kind of prompted us to talk about this on the podcast, which is, it's a bit like a kind of World Cup wall bracket, and it doesn't matter how old I get, every World Cup I sit there and I look at it and I plan England's route to the final. And with this, I'm kind of doing the same, which is like, we did it the other night not knowing what side of the draw we were going to be on, but we identified if we were on this side of the draw, it's a hell of a chance, and it is. It is a massive, massive opportunity. I mean, you get through the round of 16. I mean, AZ, with the greatest respect to them, we should be enough. We should beat them. If we don't, then we have really let ourselves down. Over two legs, and I say this a lot, over two legs, the better side should win. So we would have really let ourselves down if we don't. So if you factor that in, then to go through to that's the quarterfinals then. And then it's Frankfurt or Ajax, good sides. But again, both of them I would look at and say we should have enough to win over two legs against either of those.
And by then you're looking at us having a pretty much full fit squad again of all the players coming back.
Maybe.
And you're thinking to yourself,
maybe we will. Because, of course, there's games in between. And the way this season's gone, it's like, Solanke's back. Fantastic. What's that? 4 other players have just had a car crash. Wow. Okay, great.
Yeah, why was he driving them to training? Doesn't matter. They're all out for the next season.
They're out for the rest of the season. So I'm kind of loathed with everyone's back because it's like, we
saw with Radu, he literally cleared a ball upfield and his MCL went and he's out until like Christmas. It's like, jeez, come on.
Come on. This isn't funny anymore. Just give us a break, will you? Not a leg break, not like that.
No, not that type. No.
Yeah. So I look at it and I just think this is a massive, massive opportunity, and I think Ange will know that it's a massive opportunity. I think the squad of players will know it's a massive opportunity. For me now, it's all about motivation and it's all about them actually proving a point, because if you come out of this season with that trophy, then like I said, in 10, 15, whatever many years time, no one gives a crap about anything else. It's just that's what they'll remember, how you finish. And that, to me, should be the message. That should be a team meeting right now. That should be, from this point on, everything that's come before is done. But how we finish this season, like if we climb that league table and we win in Europe, that's all anyone will ever remember. And, you know, you lift that trophy and every single person in that squad goes into Tottenham's legendary, you know, goes into that category. You gotta, yeah, it's an opportunity. That's all I gotta keep saying. But I think I'm so friggin' jaded over the years of the mentality of us approaching the Europa League like it's crap. Even the fans do it.
To a team that the manager was in prison. Like, you know, that's...
Even fans do it. Like, but it's only the Europa League. It just pisses me off. Because, like, when I was growing up, we weren't in Europe. Ever. Yeah. So when did it become beneath us to be in the UEFA Cup, as it was for me, the Europa League? It's not beneath us. It's a competition. It's a European competition. You ask any West Ham fan, like your good self, do you think they give a crap? It's like the Conference League? No. They had an amazing, like, that journey to win that season, lifting that trophy was an incredible, incredible achievement for it. It was an incredible night. All of them have got that in their memories of what an amazing feeling that was.
Yeah, no, I think I've mentioned before, like, I know Tony Cottee, and I can tell you now, he did not give a damn what European level that was. They won a European trophy. That's all that mattered.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Anyway, mate, that's me. I'm done. I'm wrapped. I did the show solo last week, and a lot of the feedback was really quite mean. So I'm hurting. So I'm glad you're back this week.
I'm here to save the day by the sounds of it.
Massively, yeah. People were mean. Like, really, like...
Apparently you do sound a little crazy. I listened to the podcast. I thought it was quite a good podcast.
Well, no, a few people said when I'm talking to myself, I sound like I'm enjoying it too much. I don't know what that means, but I don't think it was nice. A couple of other people said, next time you're left with a decision of recording by yourself or not doing a show at all, don't do a show. That was...
Ouch.
Yeah, that
You're
really...
not mean.
She is. She's horrible when she messages in. Yeah. Universal hatred. Like, not one nice message. Not one message like, "Hey, Sam, you're on your own. You know, well done for doing it." No, not one message like that. It was just pure, unadulterated
I feel bad now for
hate.
not telling you I enjoyed the podcast when I listened.
Well, I feel like you're just saying that now to make me feel better.
That's what I mean. Yeah, now it doesn't seem sincere now.
Yeah, no, well, it's not. I know you. I know your sincere voice, and that was just that was just platitudes. So yeah, that hurt me actually. I spent a lot of last week in a dark room listening to Coldplay, but I came through it. It's all right. But I am glad you're here this week, so I could talk to you and people can hear your voice, which clearly makes them all feel better. But yeah, that hurt. I think perhaps when they just heard me speaking alone, they were like, "Is this some sort of farmer's forecast?" I don't know what's going on. But anyway, we will be back next week to discuss. It'll be 2 games. It'll be Ipswich and Manchester City. We'll probably win one and lose one. Take your pick, which it'll be. I don't know. If we win both of those games, I'll be over the friggin' moon. If we lose both of them, this podcast could just be 10 minutes of me screaming.
I mean, we're playing on a Saturday, aren't we? That's unheard of.
Yeah, Saturday, 3:00 kickoff, mate.
I know. I can't remember the last time.
I genuinely didn't know football happened at that time. It's bizarre. I had this newfangled thing of 3 p.m. on a Saturday. I mean, what's that? It'll never catch on.
No.
I'm telling you, that'll never catch on. But anyway, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you all so much for your messages, even when you are being mean to me. It's very kind that you get in touch. It's nice to know you took the moment out of your day to call me a cunt. It's beautiful. We will be back next week. Until then, everybody, you'll take care.
Come on, you Spurs.
Thank you for listening to the Spurs News Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Stay up to date with all things Tottenham. Follow us on social media. All links are in the podcast description.